everyone. Today we are going over Illustrator line art, specifically using the pen tool, but also just really basic intro to Illustrator. So letter, so new file, we're going to keep it letter in inches. Over here you can change it to different measurement systems. We're going to keep it, the orientation, like a page. One artboard, those are like different pages. So create. Right now it's in artboards. We're going to go over here and click on selection tool. First thing first, handy things. So if while I'm on this page in selection tool, I can, if I scroll up on my mouse, it'll move the page up. If I scroll down, it'll move it down. This is handy. If I hit control, I'm pressing it, I can scroll to the left and I can scroll to the right. You'll also notice that the icon here for my mouse changes. So it actually changes while I'm hitting control to the direct selection tool. We'll get into that later. Then if I hold control or alt, it'll zoom in and out, in and out. And then I can hit the space bar and I can move the page around. That is really nice because let's say you're in the pen tool, I can hit space bar and move the page around and I'm still in that path. Or I can hit alt and zoom in, scroll in, and I'm still, so I'm just scrolling that middle, scrolling that. So I can stay in that tool. Space bar, move, control, left, escape, control Z, control Z. So that is all pretty powerful stuff. Kind of seems basic, but it's not. So it's pretty handy, just fun facts. So this is your toolbar over here. You've got fill, you've got stroke, that's the outline here, and all these different things. And you have more options over on the right, where like layers, colors, color swatches. If you don't see those things, go to window, and then you can click on different things. They're already over here, should be here already, but if they're not, you can click on layers and then there it is. And you can pull it out and you can drop it back in right there. Click on that and it expands it out. Click over on these arrows and it drops it back in. Just things to be aware of. Okay, so what we're going to do, click on the fill, this back, and click on none. So we're going to have it just be black and one stroke. So that, yeah. So then go over here, click on the rectangle tool. You're going to click and drag. So you've got that, and then I want you to click on the rectangle tool and hold it down, and then go ellipse tool and click and drag, and then click and drag but hold shift, and that will restrain it so it's a circle. Same thing for the, I'm holding it down. I'm clicking and holding down on that icon, and it gives me my options. So I held shift while I clicked and dragged. If I just click, it'll do this, and you can type it in. 2, 2, okay. And then the measurements are also up here for these objects. We're not going to get into that though. So see here, direct selection tool, If you click on the selection tool, which is V, shortcuts are really nice, so I'm going to do V. I can click it and I drag the whole object around. The whole object. So you'll see there's no fill, it's just the line. So for the stroke, I can change the thickness of it. I can change the color of it. And you see it reflected over here and up here for the stroke. Okay, focus. But what we're doing is we're going to be focusing on this, how to change the line art. So selection tool, this solid little arrow there, you can see that. If I hold control, it'll shift over automatically to the direct selection tool. Or you can click A for direct selection tool, or you can click on the icon over here. Direct selection tool makes it so that if I click, this is an anchor point, If I click on it, only that one is selected. So I'm going to hold Alt and zoom in. So see, only this anchor is selected. So that means I can click that anchor point and drag it. Click it and drag. So try doing that with your rectangle. So click, drag, click, drag, and then I'm going to hold Shift, this one's selected, I'm holding Shift, clicking another one, and oop, or not, hold Shift, and then I can drag. I'm not holding Shift now, so let's try it again. I'm going to hold Shift, I'm holding it down, I'm still holding down Shift, I'm letting go of Shift, these are still selected, and then I can drag these guys together. And if I hold Shift while I'm dragging, it'll restrain it so you can't go too far off. It'll restrain it side to side, and then 45 degree. So I'm going to hold Alt, I'm holding Alt and I'm scrolling to zoom out and zoom back in. Okay, so that is anchor point. Or while the direct selection tool's selected, I can select one path and I can move in the middle. I can move just the path around. I can hold Shift. I can move both paths around because this path was selected in this one. If I'm like, you know what, this doesn't look right and I want this to have more going on, I can click. You have two options, add anchor point tool, or you can see here in parentheses, either these are the shortcuts, or the plus sign. So I'm going to do the plus sign, I'm going to click right on that path, add anchor point, I'm going to add another one, and then I can do A for direct selection tool, and I can drag these guys around. So now I've got more complex. If you're like, oh my goodness, I did not need this, because you want fewer anchor points than more, I can hit the subtract button on my keyboard, or I can go over here and delete anchor point tool, and I can just do that. A, back to direct selection tool, V, selection tool, okay, and then, or I can hit Alt or Control, and that will switch it over. Control while I've got it selected, or I'm pushing it down, we'll move it back to direct selection. We'll have it be momentarily direct selection tool, and then when I let go of Alt, it'll go back to whatever tool I was in. So it's a powerful tool. Okay, so go over here, A, direct selection tool, and make a shape like this. Plus sign, add in a couple of anchor points. A, direct selection tool, it's kind of cool. All right, I just did Control subtraction because I'm kind of used to doing that. I'm holding the space bar and clicking and dragging so I can move around. Control or Alt, zoom in. So now A for direct selection tool, I'm clicking on this path. So I can do this, I can drag the path. So notice that these have, it's a little bit different, Control Z. If I click on this anchor point, there's handles. If I move one handle, the other handle moves. So this handle controls this side of the line from this anchor point. This handle controls this side. So if I pull the handle out, it gets longer. If I make it go closer to the anchor point, it gets shorter. They're tied together, so they're in tandem. It's tangent. So if I hold Shift, it'll hold it horizontal or 45 or vertical. You can do some crazy stuff. If you want to go back, you just drag it back. Okay, so you can move the anchor point, you can move the handle. If you're like, you know what, I really want this to be like a hard moon sort of shape. Oops. Hold on. What was it? There was something that I hit before. made it so it was the if you hit tab, it hides everything. It was like a shortcut for the okay, so if you want this to be more of a moon shape, then you can, while you're in the direct selection tool, so it's solid, you can hit Alt, see that plus sign? If you click on the handle and drag it, you can break that tandem. So let go of Alt now. So now you can see that the anchor points are independent of one another. So I can make that part of the curve really long, bring it back. I can adjust it however I want. And then if I'm like, oh my goodness, this isn't what I want, there's an option which I don't like doing for this to make it smooth again, because you lose control. So now I've got 2 anchor points. So these will make hard corners filleted or rounded out, but then you have 2 anchor points right there, which is fine for that. But for what I want this to be smooth again. So then what I'm going to go is I'm going to go to the anchor point tool. So Shift C, and then I can click on this and drag, and it will be tandem again. So I'm going to click A for direct selection tool. There we go. Handle. So might want to, I think it's a little bit handier to have these to kind of eyeball it, and then Shift C, and then I can have them be tandem again. Okay, so same thing here, where if I want to, I can do plus sign. If I just click, it'll go in automatically with the handles, and it will fit right in. It won't change it. But if I click drag, oh, or not, subtract, and then I'll screw it up now to take them out. So you could always do Control Z to remove them. Okay, anyway, anchor points, powerful. There we go. And so these are closed shapes. So if we do this, we'll select it, click on this arrow, and now it's filled, and there's no outer path that's visible. We could add, this is up in front, so I can do this, add color, 16. There we go. Very nice. So it's pretty cool. So this is all closed paths. So I'm going to select all these, delete, and now pen tool, open paths. I clicked on the pen tool. So this is a little hard to see. I'm just click, 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 click. So they're straight, there's no handles. I can reverse these. But what I really want to do is no fill. Put this up on the top. And go to selection tool with this, and then I can make this a little smaller. So selection tool, I can move the whole object together. A for direct selection tool, I click dragged over, so then I can move just these guys around if I want to. I can click, I'm holding Alt, and then I can make a copy. Alt is copy. If I hold Shift, I can take it down straight. Pretty fun. Anyway, that's okay. So pen tool, click, and then I'm going to click drag, and now I have handles. Click drag, click drag, click drag, click drag, click drag, click, 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 click. Okay, so what we're going to do now is open up a file that you guys have, pen intro. This is from, so these are different artboards. down here, you can see all the artboards. I'm going to click on one, and I'll zoom right up to it. They're still all here, so if I zoom out, there they are, zoom in, here it is. So look on your layers, click on here. We're going to create a new layer, so this plus sign down here, create new layer, and then what we're going to do is lock these guys so we can't screw it up. We can hide these, and now if it's locked, we can't click on it. So we are going to click on one, click two, click three. Oh, forgot. No. Okay, that's easier. Click 4, 5, 6. So we're just click. We're not click dragging. So see here, I can, for this guy, we want to snap to that anchor point. It's not doing it. Whatever. Okay, there. And then if we want to make a square, click, hold shift, and see how it constrains it. Click, click. And see there, that intersecting purple line? And that circle means it's a closed shape. So now this is one closed object. Okay. Alright, so now try doing this down here. Click, 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 click. I'm going to keep saying click, apparently. Just get the hang of it. Escape. Alright, so then we're going to try this. So to do curves, you're going to click drag. So you see how you can do the peaks? You do the peaks and the valleys for the curves. So the outer edge. And you just do one. So what you don't do, clicking and dragging. So what you don't do is, because that's really hard to control and it usually looks really bad. So you want to have just as few as possible, so peaks and valleys. So you're going to click drag, click drag, click drag, click drag. And then I'm not worrying about the handles right now. I'm just placing my anchor points, and then I'm going to hit escape, and then A. I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to move my handle. So I'm thinking, I know I'm going to move both handles. So click on this. This handle controls this side. Bring it down. And this file, if you're not in the class, this file is just from the Adobe tutorial for learning the anchor point, or the pen tool. It's on their video. Okay, so then I can bring this up. There. So by shifting the length of the handles and the direction, I can get it right where I need it to be. And these, we're keeping these tangent. These, we're not making them independent of each other, the handles. They move together. Alright, we're going to go back to pen tool. You can click P. We're going to start down here this time. So you can just start it without having a handle if you just click. So we'll try that. Click drag. Click drag. Not, again, I'm not worrying like how the line's sitting. I'm just getting the anchor points where they need to be. So the high spots and the low spots. So I'm going to click drag for that. Alright, so then A for direct selection tool. That. Get this guy over. So, yep, there we go. And these guys are tangent because of how this is made. Like it's soft. So I'm not going to try and get this by holding Alt and adjusting this, because then this is choppy. That would be not what we need right now. Pull this guy in. There we go. So just baby it a little bit. You can drag this anchor point in, all with the direct selection tool. Pull this down. Get this guy to the right a little bit. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, so now what I can do, selection tool, select these guys, and then let's do 10. Yeah, I go to my layers, I can hide this, I can see how these guys look. A for direct selection tool, I'm like, I think this should be a little softer. This maybe, I can adjust this as needed if your underlay is weird, which happens. Okay. So, and then last thing, if you're like, oh, I don't want to have to draw this twice, delete, see that anchor point was still there. Select this guy, do it with the direct selection tool so you don't leave anything behind, and then hold this down, reflect. I'm going to select right here, and then I'm going to hold Alt, important, and then I'm going to hold Shift so it keeps it constrained. So I'm holding Alt and Shift, and then it reflects it over. Very nice. Okay, so let's show this guy again. All right, last but not least, for the pen tool, we're going to click. All right, let's start here. So it's starting here. So we're not going to worry about, because it's going to be, these are symmetrical right now. I'm not going to worry about that. So we're just going to get it going. 2. So let's drag, and then we can hit Alt. I'm still holding with my mouse. I never let go. I clicked on, I'm holding Alt and moving that handle. So now it's independent. I'm going to click drag, Alt. I'm holding Alt down while I never let go of my mouse. I'm going to hold Shift to get it locked in so it's straight. And then do Shift to keep it so it's straight there. Click, Shift, drag, and then Alt. I'm going to pull that handle up. So click, Shift, or not Shift, click, drag. I'm holding Alt. And then I'm letting go of the mouse and Alt. And then let's say I need to zoom out. I can click on Alt. I'm not clicking on anything, but I'm still in the pen tool. And then when I let go of Alt, I can rotate. I can do the middle, the scroll on my mouse while I'm holding Alt. I'm back in the pen tool. Do Control, direct selection tool, and then I'm back in the pen tool, or I'm holding the space bar and I can move the page around. I'm still in the pen tool. I know it seems whatever. Okay, so then I'm going to make this a closed shape. So I'm going to look for that circle for the icon next to the pen tool. There it is. I'm going to click and drag so that I have that handle that's tandem to the other one. I'm going to hit Escape, or A, do A. So now I can go in and get this guy where I need it to be. All these handles, click on this. I'm in the direct selection tool. This guy over here, this guy up here. All these handles right where they're saying. Okay, nice. Perfect. So then, now I can select this guy. If I want to, I can do I for the eyedropper tool and go over here, click on that, and it actually will do the fill. Make it so it's not the outline anymore, the stroke. It'll be the fill and that color. And then selection tool, or V. I can click on this, and then I'm going to do I for the eyedropper tool. So now it's a white fill. And then if I right click, I can do arrange, bring to front. So I'm in the selection tool, so I'm going to shrink this down. If I hold Shift, it'll constrain it. So I can change the scale, that corner, holding Shift. So all screwed up. And then I'm going to grab my antennas. We'll pretend the rest is there. Let's scale these guys down. We'll move up. I forgot to shift. I'm just clicking on, because I'm on the selection tool, I can move them by just clicking on the path. And then for Eyedropper Tool, I can click on those little antennas. Perfect. And then if I wanted to, I can go in. I'm going to do Alt to get this guy back. So I suggest trying this. I'm click drag, Alt to get this to go its own direction while I drag. I'm going to do the Eyedropper tool, and then while I'm in the selection tool, I'm going to right click. I guess I could have done it while I was in there. And then send it back. And I can move it. I do I can move this guy over. And I can go here, ellipse tool, and hold shift. There we go. It's filled. And then another circle. Holding shift. Let's make this guy black. It's right there. Okay, zoom in. And see how this guy's got this wedge? We can do that here. Selection tool, let's move it over. Let's make it a little bigger. I'm going to hold shift. And then I'm going to do the plus sign. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3. A for direct selection tool, I'm going to select just this anchor point, move it in here, and then I'm going to do the anchor point tool and just click on it one time, and that gets rid of those handles. So I'm going to A, so I went over here, I held down anchor point tool, just one click right on that anchor point and gets rid of the handles. And then while I'm in that, I might as well, using that tool, I can grab this guy and just pull it so it's, I don't want to just click on this though. I'm going to do A because it would change that. So I'm just going to do Alt, it's easier. On that handle, it'll make it go independent. So you can go all the way to this guy or just eyeball it. Either way, and then it's straight. And that is how, there. Okay, so save this and you can turn that in.